Hello, my name is Parker-Davies and I am at Zaytuna Farm thinking of appropriate technologies on one of the first rainy days we've had in a really long time. Might stick, might not. Looks like we'll still be in drought for a little while until we get some major runoff event, maybe in whenever we do. But, as promised, I thought I'd show you the mycelium bowl, a bowl made out of mushroom mycelium, the bodies of fungus. Eaten up newspaper and grains to make a bowl that I can have my soup in. A little bit of a bite. What I thought I'd do is follow that up with a little bit of a look at some other appropriate technologies we have on the farm. So whilst that technology of mycelium as a bowl is a fantastic thing, because it grows so quickly, so rapidly, with such little input, turns into a bowl, and can also grow your mushrooms. Awesome. I thought I'd show you some worm farms, because it might not seem linked, but it is, because these technologies, these things that we play with, these things that we engineer and organise to facilitate our lives to be more productive, better, more intelligent, the more they change. So what we've got here is a composting system that can be installed in country or urban in a fantastic way, and it's pretty rough, this situation. We feed it whatever, bunya nuts, I mean, why not, you know? We've got mycelium that we made our bowl out of, growing all over it, and it's got worms in there to digest and turn it into nutrient-filled worm tea. Has a cane toad living in it. That is okay. And also give us worm castings, which we can put into our potting mixes. But something very fascinating has evolved here at Zaytuna Farm. We've gone from 3 baths for our worm castings and our worm nutrient, plus a submerged bucket. This bucket is underground and gets fed food scraps for the worms underneath. What happens is the worms swim into this herb spiral, swim, crawl, eat, devour their way through the nutrient, and they scatter their poop throughout the herb spiral. But something else that is also done is this one. Very fascinating little vermiculture. That's worm agriculture, worm culture, vermin culture, vermiculture. This thing is called a subpod. It is also a worm farm. Submerged in our garden, they are allowed to go through these tiny little holes on the side. Rats can't get in them, but worms can get in and out of them, into the surrounding bed, which composts the bed for us. So we could turn compost all we want, or we could simply allow the worms to turn the compost for us and nutrify the surrounding areas. An awesome little invention. Now the last bit of technology that I think is incredibly fascinating, that I thought I might show you, has been a yesterday evolution, and tomorrow we will swap a swarm, and I will learn more. What this thing is, it's a beehive, and because the people from Flow Hive live around the corner, they happen to be flow hives, which are very fascinating bits of technology. They're very interesting. They have these little viewing platforms, viewing windows, where we can look into and see the activity of the bees. This one doesn't have a swarm in it. It will have a swarm in it tomorrow. But that comb that's already in there, by switching a dial on the thing, we can crack it open and the honey runs without disturbing the bees, without taking their comb, without killing anything. A peaceful, amazing little way of doing something that's very convenient. We harvest our honey from this location here. Amazing, these things. all these beautiful little wooden panels, so well thought of. And you just crack your honey out, comes out after it's been cracked up there, and comes into a little jar. Down here we have a level to make sure it's flat. This is not at the moment. And you can have it unvented because the holes are down here and that stops it from being vented, or we can flip it and have it vented because beekeepers in some scenarios would like different things. Down here is a little beetle trap for some pests that can come up and try and devour little bees. So what happens is oil gets put in there to prevent the beetle from consuming, hurting, devouring, harming any of our favourite insects, the bees. Now, something very special indeed. I'm going to have a look at the hive that has bees living in it. Amazing. Incredible creatures, the bees. This is kind of a spontaneous little video. I just feel that my last weeks at Zaytuna, I haven't been doing any videos really whilst I've been here. And I thought it might be a benefit to you, or to, well, I guess to you because you're watching it, to know these things, to hear these things, to see these things, so that we can remember our roots in food production, remember what makes a community thrive and what makes us able to live and to become reconnected to nature. So I'll show you these little things here and there of Zaytuna Farm over the next coming weeks, if I can remember and feel the urge to do so. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope this has enriched your life in some form or another.